Hello, welcome back to the show. I'm your host Kyle, and I'm going to talk a little bit about a recent theatre production that I watched. It's called Seven Captivia Road, and well, let's just get into it. It's set during a muggy night in the New England state of Massachusetts in 2004 as Olivia, played by Helen Doig, stares into her idiot box. She awaits the return of her daughter Francine, played by Michaela Ebony, who has gone to pick up her brother Christopher, played by Max Garcia Underwood. And the quiet house is about to become a war zone, but not for the first time. Inside, Grandmom, played by Lindell Charteris, is at death's door. Bedridden, nonverbal, and unfortunately dying of cancer, it's only a matter of time before the inevitable happens. Now, Olivia believes that the inevitable will happen tomorrow, which is the same day as the Assumption of Mary, which is August 15th, as Nonna always was a good Catholic woman after all. But this is the reason why so many members of the extended family have been called upon to pay their respects. Olivia's sisters, the born again Gabrielle, played by Bonwen Coleman, the adopted Barbara, played by Claire Larman, and Barbara's daughter Joanne, played by Pia Omedra, are the only other people who have actually made the call. While Olivia's man of the house, her old school Italian immigrant husband Enzo, played by Sebastian Gunner, shuffles around feeling unappreciated. Over the next night and into the morning, old grudges will be brought up, passions will be indulged in by Christopher with the married neighbor, Maureen, played by Annie Prio, and secrets will be exposed. But basically, all around toxicity and tensions will come to a boil. Now, because regardless of age, gender, or class, everyone has darkness in their past, and this powder keg just needs one spark to blow. So, welcome home to 7 Captivia Road, where hell isn't just other people, it's your family. Now, 7 Captivia Road, it's written by Andrea Cianevi, and its origins come all the way from New York City. Uh, it was developed by Labyrinth Theatre Company under artistic directors John Oritz and the late Philip Seymour Hoffman. The non-profit off-Broadway company, it initially started as a Latino actors base. That's where it gets the lab from. And then it eventually expanded with a multicultural base of talented performers to workshop and hone their craft. I believe Ethan Hawke is a member of it, Michael Shannon, several other pretty high profile actors are part of this group. Now, the play was experienced by Bronwyn Coleman, the actress who plays Gabrielle in this play, and she's also the artistic director of a similarly independent Australian company, the Anthropocene Play Company, or APC. And it actually the APC actually brings 7 Captivia Road to its world premiere. It's never actually been put on before, so it's kind of an interesting milestone for it. Now, returning home can be a difficult thing with all the emotions and difficult memories it can drudge up. Whether it be dramas from our past or what we are going through at the time, things can inevitably become tense, and this is something which is at the heart of 7 Captivia Road. And Cianevi's play really explores these themes quite well. Although it's based around three generations of an Italian American family, it's actually quite a diverse story beyond that. The characters and their issues and the personal dramas, they really kind of echo down through the generations, and they're quite far-reaching in their variety. It deals with things such as domestic violence, both physical and emotional, drug dependency, or angst against one's own parents, or feelings of isolation, and really a whole bunch of other subjects as well. So, regardless of your past, I really think that there's something. There'll be at least one character in this story whose plight really should resonate with you. I find that that's something that's a real strength of the piece. Now, the actors were great, and they really brought the play to life in characters that are they're free from forced hysterics or any kind of like real melodrama. Um, that's what makes the story so believable is that we're simply watching this damaged family interact over very human and very relatable issues. Uh, as as an Australian, it can be a little jolting at first hearing such the distinct Massachusetts, almost Boston accent uh, coming from the Australian actors, but eventually that too grows on you, and it also feels natural. Now, a lot of the drama of the play is centered more around the character of Francine than on her mother, Olivia. And Ebony is up to the task of playing Francine, and she has at least one scene with almost every character in the play. She also kind of gives us this view into the family in crisis, which Olivia, as a character, is well, she's much more of a better not to speak about it type of person. So we more see into this family through Francine than through Olivia. And the dynamic between these two characters is fascinating given their differing approach. With uh, you think starting out the play, you think that it's all about um, a family trying to keep secrets and this, that, and the other, and you find out by the end that Olivia's means of survival is really just as valid as Francine's. Yeah, Gunnar is also great as the boisterous Enzo, and I think that's we've all met someone like him before. I know I know that I've got a few Enzos in my life. Uh, Most of his scenes really come in the second half. I think he only appears once, very briefly, in the first half of the play. It's told in two separate 50-minute segments with a 20-minute intermission. And yeah, he only appears once in the first half, and then most of his stuff is in the second half. And most of his stuff is actually more humorous, which really adds to the black comedy of Seven Captivity Road. Uh, Underwood as the man-child Christopher was probably the performance I most identified with, to be honest. Just his kind of way of dealing with crises and stuff was probably the the one that most resonated with me. But unfortunately, much of his role seems focused on his relationship with his next door neighbor Maureen, and far removed from the internal drama of the family itself. It kind of makes sense because I guess that is kind of like just his way of dealing with it. He is kind of a main character in the story, and most of his stuff is focused on outside of the family. But to be honest, it for so much of the play to actually be focused on that, it was actually kind. I hate to say it was kind of irrelevant to the overall plot. I think just the the relationship between him and the next door neighbor, and even though so much of the set was actually uh, designed around the fact that you can kind of see the next door neighbor's uh, patio kind of thing. I mean, that actually brings me to Seven Captivia Road's great set design by Isabella Edwards. The stage is designed in such a way to show the insides of the house, the kitchen, the living room, and grandmom's deathbed, but also the front porch, which where most of the drama happens between the characters going on many smoke breaks. There's lighting by Tom Vulcan and sound design by Jess Keefe, which emphasizes the difference as the night goes on into the following morning, the difference between the inside and the outside. And I particularly like the touch of having the sound of the TV come up whenever someone opened the standalone front door. It kind of, I mean, it is really just a, there's no walls or anything. It's just a front door, which is obviously that's supposed to be the difference between inside and outside. And whenever a character opened the front door and came outside, usually it didn't always happen, but quite often the volume would come up of like the TV that's playing inside the house, and I kind of like the little touches like that. It didn't always happen, and I think that leads to the minimal gaffes on the night, like the small amount of mistakes were all technical in nature. The cast, their lines and their timing was perfect, but sometimes the music that played throughout the show, it kind of had this hard cut, and then it would stop playing again. There's a part at the end of the first act where Ave Maria is playing, and it really just hard cuts out, and then it started up again. Now I'm sure that wasn't on purpose. Yeah, so hopefully that's something that they can get a hold on for subsequent um, nights. There was also a there was a hole in a wall that was pointed out in dialogue and kind of like revealed, but it's very noticeably that there's none existing on the actual set. And I'm usually fine with like details like that, being it's all theatre of the mind, but the actual set design of this play was quite elaborate, and I mean, there's a working oven on the set, and throughout the second half of when it's in the morning, the character actually they are frying up pancakes, and you can smell the pancakes. I mean there really is a lot of detail to the set. And so when the characters are pointing to something and saying, "Hey, look, this character put his fist through the wall, and there's no hole in the wall," it's very noticeable. But these small errors were just they were the only problems in an otherwise well performed and very intriguing show. So Seven Captivia Road, I think, is a relatable and tense experience, which is sure to evoke memories of familiar drama in the audience. It never quite goes where you expect it to, and it's being all the more honest for it. The play really is. Uh, I really expected it to go in a much more cliched direction, and it doesn't go there, and that's something that I liked about the play. It is a lot more honest and a lot more just natural in how the story plays out. So director Kathy Hunt really should be proud to have given this powerful story its first successful production. So Seven Captivia Road is currently playing at Chapel Off Chapel until March 3rd, 2024. For tickets, visit chapeloffchapel.com.au, and yeah, you should be able to find out everything you need there. So you're listening to Subculture on centralcoastradio.com, and we will be back right after this.